Come and show me the way. Hey, come baby, show me the way. Come and show me the way. You know you wanna show me the way. No more playing games. Hey, come baby, show me the way. Come on, demonstrate. You know you wanna show me the way. Ah, yeah. Wavy, baby. So when I stroll, she a great baby, bounce on my body, she a wine for me, No time to leave, no say bye to me, no. Real bad man, me a love enough body, the body make her never say she love me not. Real God kid from my brother, me a roger that. It's not war, if it's war, me a bringing that. Lady, show me the way, cause you're bad, Need you go bounce, cause you bad, One time if you really hustle for the green, 2 time if you're taking 1 for the team. New level, new teas, good time we are make cream. Yeah. Show me the way, hey, come baby, show me the way. Come and show me the way. You know you wanna show me the way. No more playing games. Hey, come baby, show me the way. Come on, demonstrate. You know you wanna show me the way. Ah, yeah. Show me the way. Baby, show me the way. Vibe on replay. Replay every day. Kuna moja tu. Wapi ya santi. Let's go, auntie. Let's go for auntie.
It does kill it.
You made the decision to play Thiago. Klopp doesn't change the system since Luvac left. You don't want to change from the 4-3-3.
Boom. What's going on, people? We are back again on the J James Show, and we're here for a first, to be fair. I haven't done a Liverpool just general chit-chat in a while, and I'm going to start doing these a bit more regularly. So it's called the Reds Roundup with myself. Going to have different people on every single week, and we're going to be just discussing everything to do with Liverpool that week, that day, that month, whatever it may be. Just the biggest topics. Big up to everyone in the building. Make sure we're smashing the likes. Big up to obviously Jamie as well for joining me today. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you don't like the content, or if you do like the content, just have a watch of us a bit more, whether it's myself or Jamie. If you like it, then subscribe. If not, just keep liking the video and keep turning up, because I know a lot of you guys still turn up. Thank you for everyone, obviously, that's wished me, obviously, a good trip away in NY. It was really good to have a break. But listen, we're back. Before I get to anyone in the chat, Jamie, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Look, the kids are out, the wife is out. I've got the house to myself. I'm on your show. Life couldn't be better at the moment. You know what I mean? Amazing. Listen, that's the way to do it, 100%, man. I wish I was in that situation now, to be fair. I mean, I've been on holiday. I've had enough of the missus. So, yeah, interesting. We got James here in the building saying Jamie's moved into Jerry's house. Yeah, Jamie's streaming from next door. Jamie's streaming from next door. Big up to you. So we got John in the building as well saying, big up. Hope you had a great trip in NYC. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much. We've got Alexander De Los in the building as well. We've got Colin Blackshaw in the building. We've got James Doherty as well. Big up everyone. We've got LFCJ 11 saying Fergie time, Copies time, JJ time. What's the similarity? Are we always come late? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Impressive. GTV saying Yaga, what's going on to G in the building? We've got Boom 43 saying Conte is one of only 3 managers to beat Pep for a league title. Just saying. What's this talk about Conte? Anyway, we're going to get into it. And we've got Agama in the building saying, hey, welcome back. How's your trip, bro? It was really good. Thank you. Really good. We've got Ale in the building as well saying afternoon, guys. And anyone else that's joining as well, please make sure upon entry, anytime you see myself or Jamie's face on screen, just make sure you are smashing the like. It does help our channels grow. And Jamie's channel will be in the description at the end of the show. So please head over there and check out Jamie's content. And yeah, let's get into it, man. I think, look, the last time I streamed, it was the Burnley preview. Then I went away. So haven't streamed after that. Just to summarize before we get into everything else, because I think there's been a
and I don't want to talk about the game. I want to talk about the situation at Liverpool in a general sense. A lot of talk after that game. It seems to me that Liverpool are now the underdogs in the title race. A lot of people are looking at Arsenal's obviously victory in the weekend, City obviously winning as well, and looking at Liverpool's obviously route to a win, and kind of looking at us a bit tentatively. They're looking at Liverpool and not really excited about the performance. We've got a lot of Liverpool fans, starting to turn, not necessarily excited about the football that's being played or the manner in which we're getting these wins. What was your take on that Burnley game and the proposition or the notion that Liverpool are now, they're not the title contenders. They're just keeping that space warm for City or Arsenal to come in.
Yeah, look, our playing style is what it is. I said it yesterday on the other day on the debate show with G and everyone, and we were talking about it then. And our playing style is what it is. It's chaotic. It's mad. I think that's why Liverpool are quite an entertaining team to watch in matches, because they have entertaining games because of our playing style. I'd rather us be a bit more, controlling the games at times. Maybe that's why everyone thinks we're underdogs. But it's a weird one because we're top of the league. We're in every single competition. And we could go far in every single. Look, we've got a cup final in 2 weeks' time. Like in less than 2 weeks' time, we've got a cup final, man. And then, we've got, if we beat Southampton at home, I think that puts us in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. And we've got the last 16 of the Europa League. So we're in every competition. We deserve to be where we are. There's no shadow of doubt. I think a lot of Liverpool fans think we're very fortunate to be where we are. I think that's what a lot of people are thinking. They're thinking Arsenal got a better team, City got a better team. We're just a bit fortunate at the moment. I don't think that's the case. I think there's not much between us and Arsenal, to be fair. And City are City. We all just expect City to win every game from now till the end of the season. Then the Anfield game's the big test. If we can win the Anfield game, then it's game on in the league, I think. But I don't understand. I said this here. I had a rant last night on my show about this. I don't understand Liverpool fans at the moment. Some Liverpool fans are so miserable, man. I don't, I'm enjoying the season. I'm enjoying where we are, and I'm excited for the future and everything at the moment. I think it's actually quite an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. I don't think it's as depressing as people think it is.
Yeah, I'm one to agree as well. I think, look, people call me a wrong un. They say I'm negative. I wanted Klopp out and all of this type of stuff. But if things are good, things are good. I'm not going to be one to try to draw out negativity from where there isn't really. Look, we all have our opinions on how we play football, whether we like it or not. But we're in the position that we're in, and if the season ended today, that we'd be top, isn't it? Like, it's just the way it is. So I don't know. I thought we've got to take it in our stride. I think people are. It's something I thought about, and I think people, due to Klopp coming out and saying that he's leaving, they're looking at this season as and maybe subconsciously looking at this season as the last chance in which Liverpool can come win the league, because after this, whoever comes in isn't going to be as good as Klopp, and you've got to be Klopp to beat Pep, and Pep's the only one Klopp's the only one to beat Pep in the last decade or so, 8 years minimum. So I'm looking at it, and yeah, maybe that's the perspective. Maybe that. And what do you say to fans that are, or Liverpool fans that are looking at this situation thinking, oh my God, Klopp's the only ones that's got to win it. We have to win the league. Because I haven't actually discussed this with you. Liverpool, obviously Klopp's left or said he's leaving. Do Liverpool have to win the league this year? Or is it just that it is what it is season?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, I think it depends how old you are. Personally, as a fan, see, I'm in my 40s, so I've seen managers come and go. There's Liverpool fans that are going to be in their early 20s who really know only Jurgen Klopp and the success that Jurgen Klopp's had. So there might be a bit fearful of the future, and I understand that. Me personally, I think that Klopp is, I've been saying it for a while, Jurgen Klopp is Liverpool's modern day Bill Shankly. He took Liverpool from, they weren't down on that, it's all down their luck. Not doing great, not the big team there once was. And if you hear Luis Suarez's comments today saying that no one wanted to sign for Liverpool when he was there, and it was hard and it was difficult, to now Jurgen Klopp taking Liverpool and being this bastion of football in Europe again, where we can get anyone we want, really, and that's what Klopp's done. And, Shankly did that at Liverpool. He won trophies at Liverpool, Shankly, but then Paisley won everything after. And that's why I look at it thinking like there's quality managers out there in the world now, new up and coming, young, talented coaches that are trying to take football to the next step, And look, Liverpool got to look at the fact that Pep Guardiola's not going to be at Man City forever. De Bruyne's not going to be at Man City forever. Haaland's not going to be at Man City forever. So what Liverpool got to do for the future is get themselves future ready. So for when these things happen at City, Liverpool can take advantage. And that's what they got to be looking at for the future. And it's the same with Arsenal. It's the same with Man United, what they're doing right now. So that's why I'm quite excited for the future. I'm not down on it. This season, Liverpool don't win the league, but they win the Europa League, FA Cup and League Cup. I'm partying. I don't care what anyone else says. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. We got Uncle Albert in the building as well, saying, Jerry, good afternoon from hot and sunny Accra. Big up to yourself. Yeah, good time, good to go, man. Good time to go right now. We got our uncle saying, look, we have to win. We've got GTV saying here, the question I want to ask is, if we don't win the league, how would you then view the season, as it will mean one title? By the way, City win their game in hand. We are second. No guarantees, though.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, look, I think we all started the season not knowing what Liverpool were going to be with a new midfield, how we're going to bounce back from the poor season before. We bounced back beautifully. Then your things change in the season, don't it? Your aspects of your team changes as the season goes on. We're top of the league right now. So my aspect is that let's go on and try and win this Premier League. Will I be heartbroken if we lose it? Of course, every Liverpool fan will be, because where we are in the league right now. But it's not really in our hands. It is in City's hands, because, as G says there, they got the game in hand. If they win their game in hand, it don't really matter what Liverpool do. They can keep winning. They still lose the league by a point. And we've been there before. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's not a lot. We're still in trophies. We're looking competitive again. So, yeah, look, we'll all be depressed a little bit, but if we can still win trophies, Liverpool, every time they've done an actual title challenge against City, they've always won a trophy. Like the 97-point season, they won the Champions League. The 92-point season, they won the domestic double. And the year they went and challenged for the title, they won the title against City. So every time Liverpool have really challenged City at their best, they've won something that season, and that's why, it's very important for us, I think, to pick up trophies this season if we can't win the league.
Yeah. I to be fair, I agree. I look here and I'm just like, first of all, City are City, and a lot of us, including me, didn't really give Liverpool a chance this season. So whether Klopp was going to stay or not, I still predicted us to finish 6th, 5th. Now, do you know what I mean? At best, looking at, the fact that we had to bed in the midfield. We still, didn't know what Darwin Núñez could or could not do. We had the situation with Salah. We didn't know whether he was going to leave. So before that end of the transfer window, I was looking at Liverpool thinking, boy, we might be lucky to get 5th and, pick up a Carabao Cup. Because, do you know what I mean? The amount of games we're going to have to play, we might not be able to go and strengthen properly. We've managed to go and do that. We've been really, really good. All we can do right now, in my opinion, in the lead up to that City game, is win as many possibles and just assess the situation. Maybe as fans, the day before the City game, where we can look at it and think, okay, how many points are we off them? How important is that win? And then, of course, you just got to go and do the business when they come to Anfield. So that's all we can do. In the meantime, we just got to win all of our games, and it's as simple as that. And I think it's the same for Arsenal as well, and City, to be fair, because if City drop points, do you know what I mean? They're back to square one with them. Do you know what I mean? Right now, they've got that game in hand, which is their safety net. They lose a game, they need to win that next game, and then that doesn't. Do you know what I mean? That still doesn't put them above Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? In this moment in time, so
yeah, Arsenal got the best fixtures, I think, in their next 4 or 5. City got the hardest, because I think they got to play Chelsea, and they got the Manchester derby the week before they play us. So they've got the harder fixture list in the next 4 games. Liverpool is quiet. We got Brentford away, which is going to be a tricky game, but 12:30 I think actually benefits us for once away to Brentford instead of being in the evening. And then at home
Luton
to Luton.
Town.
Yeah,
at home to Luton on the Wednesday, and then we've got the final.
And then Nottingham Forest away the week after. So I expect us to win all 3 Premier League games. Arsenal got
Mm.
some easy games. So, yeah, you are right. Look, if City drop points, that game in there might not matter so much if they win it. So, it's just about Liverpool doing Liverpool. I don't think we should worry about City and Arsenal. Just carry on doing what we're doing at the moment. Look, we don't. I don't particularly feel like we've played extremely well all season, but we're effective. And at the end of the day, when you win a Premier League title, it really doesn't say how well you played all season, does it? It just says Premier League champions. Does anyone actually care?
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Really
Liverpool
true.
just got to be effective. I think Liverpool got a strong mentality this season that's showing at the moment. And if they can keep that going, Liverpool with their injuries yet again, they seem to still get over the line. But my worry is that the injuries are going to catch us up. That's my only issue about it all.
Yeah. Quick question then for you then. Let's actually get on the screen so the viewers can see it as well. Look at our fixture list, and until the City game, because I think it's worthwhile having a look. Everyone can see that, hopefully. Yes, we can. So obviously we've obviously played a Burnley game. We won 3-1. Not the best performance, but obviously still got the job done, still were able to get goals. Had Burnley scored a couple of goals against us, it may have been a different game. It would have went to 1-1 or 2-2, and then we would have had a problem. But look, we've got Brentford obviously 12:30 on Saturday. We've then got Luton midweek. I'm actually going to that game, so that's going to be an interesting one. We've got we've got 2 Premier League games sandwiched, 2 cup games in the final and the FA Cup 5th round. Sandwich in between, obviously, 4 Premier League games, obviously either side. So we've got Brentford, Luton Town, Nottingham Forest, and obviously the Man City game. Do you think Liverpool may need to sacrifice one of these games in order to win all 6? And do you see Liverpool winning all 6? Because, as you said, Brentford is a tricky game. I think, obviously, we're not going to go into too much detail, but I think the Tony arrival and I think the way Brentford played against City, it does worry me because City obviously have a different style to us, but they were able to counter them. We get countered on a lot more. And I think they can be quite clinical, especially with Tony in. He's got 2 assists, 2 goals in the last 3 games or something like that. So he's going to be effective. Yeah. Obviously Luton Town at home, that's a relatively easy one. But then we've got the final, which obviously Trent is obviously going to miss, and we're going to obviously talk about that. We've then got the FA Cup 5th round, which if you want to go and progress into that, we need to get a win there. And of course, it's Southampton in the Championship. They can still cause us some problems. We've then got Nottingham Forest away, which is always a tricky game. And then Liverpool, obviously the City game. Can you see Liverpool winning all 6 and say it with confidence? Or do you think Liverpool may need to look at the FA Cup and say, you know what, we might have to play the academy piece in there and give us a rest, which may mean we don't progress in that cup?
I think the Premier League have taken the piss a little bit, bringing the Luton game forward like they have. That game was meant to be the weekend. They actually brought it forward. So Chelsea get a week off, a week rest, and Liverpool got to play 2 Premier League games for a cup final where we're going for a Premier League title. So that means the manager has to play strongest teams in them 3 games there: Brentford, Luton, and Chelsea. That's 3 games in 7 days. If I'm Jurgen Klopp, I'd actually be really pissed off about that, to be fair. And then that means that for me, that means the Southampton game in the FA Cup, Liverpool will go after that's going to have to be the kids. Because it's at Anfield, I think we can get away with it. Because it's going to be at Anfield, I think we can get away with playing the youngsters in that game and still progressing. But I don't think Klopp's got a choice because he's got to play. If he wants his Premier League title before he leaves, he's going to have to go strong against Brentford and Luton. He's got no choice to. And then, obviously, the EFL Cup final he's going to go strong in. The Southampton game, he's going to just have to, a lot of rotation in that game, hope for the best. Being at home probably gives you a little bit of an advantage that you can still progress in that, being an evening kickoff as well. And then the Forest game, I still expect some rotation in that maybe. and to make sure everyone's fully fit for the Man City game, because it's the Merseyside derby after it, isn't it? So
yeah,
it's that Luton game, man. I just think that's a Mickey take, to be absolutely fair. I really do. I doubt that'd happen to Man City. I doubt if that Man City had a cup final on the Sunday and they brought the game forward 3 days, I doubt that would happen. 12:30 kickoff, a midweek game, and then a cup final in 7 days. Nah, that's.
I think it's not fair as well, even on fans, because I'm going to that game and it's just like on a Wednesday, a Wednesday midweek before a cup final. If there's fans that are going to all 3 of those games, they're going to Brentford on Saturday, get back, preparing to go to, obviously going to the Luton game, and then I've got to travel back down to London again to go and see the final. I think that's a bit outrageous, to be fair. It's a bit outrageous to have that all in the span of the same month as well. Boy. But look, interesting. So guys, let us know if you're watching this on a replay. Please let us know what you think. Do you think Liverpool can win all 6 games? If not, where would you prioritize? Make sure we're smashing a like as well, people. We've got Colin here saying, I fear Brentford away more than City at home. Interesting. We've got Ale here saying, I'm not bothered about the cup or the cup final or the FA Cup. See, this is where I got to disagree, man. You've got to win that final. You've got to win trophies, man. What's the point of challenging for a title that we're not even in control of? It's not like, we're 5-10 points ahead, but we've got to win every game because we've got City on our tails. Even if we win every game, if City do, we still finish second. So, we just got to win the finals. We've got to win the cups, man. We've got Angel at 68 saying Brentford will be very difficult. Their set pieces will hurt us. The Luton rescheduled game is a disgrace by the Premier League. I agree. Chelsea get a free week. And Boom Boom 43 saying, look, we're good enough squad to win those games, and hopefully we can do, man. Hopefully injuries.
Why is Chelsea's game not being brought forward to midweek as well?
When is Chelsea's game? Well, let me see. But
because they would have been playing the weekend, wouldn't they? If they weren't playing in the cup final.
Let's have a look.
Why are they not? Why has their game not been brought forward? I don't get it.
No, their game is being postponed.
Yeah.
Yeah, their game
forward.
That doesn't make any sense. Their game against Tottenham has been postponed.
Yeah. So they had a massive game against Spurs, and they gave.
Why couldn't they have that on the Wednesday? Why couldn't they have that on the Wednesday?
Not having a big derby. Because it's a derby, it's probably about the
money,
the police and all that, because it's a big derby. And
the money as well. It's just televising it, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just televising it. They wanted to have that on the weekend. They don't want to have that midweek.
So so when Liverpool fans feel like they are being a bit screwed over by the PGMOL and VAR and the Premier League with these 12:30 kickoffs, and big up Simon Jordan, by the way, and Talk Sport actually laid into the Premier League chief about Liverpool getting all in 12:30 kickoffs, and he never had an answer for it either. Liverpool got some truth to it, man. It just don't seem right. It don't seem right at all.
It would be interesting, man. It would be interesting. It would be interesting to go and see. But listen, speaking of injuries, might as well get into it, man. Might as well get into it. And boy, Trent. Aggravated the knee. Said to be out. For the foreseeable future. Gonna miss the Carabao Cup final. Szoboszlai injury doubt. Obviously we've got Salah returning, which obviously we discuss later. Thiago, of course, out as well. Looking like for the season now, potentially. According to Neil Jones, I know Klopp came out and said it wasn't too bad, but from what Neil Jones is saying from goal, it was actually stating that it's actually the opposite. So chat to me about the injury situation as a whole before we get into, the nitty gritty of every player, because I'm looking at this and something's not adding up. And it hasn't done for a long while. Thiago's supposed to be back. back end of last season or by September, got pushed back to November. Then it was, January, and we only came back in February. By Cetic was supposed to be back by now. He played and then didn't play ever again. Trent out with a knee injury, and that looked like a bad knee injury that some players actually even require surgery for. For some reason, we were told he's going to be back earlier than he was supposed to. Now he's aggravated his knee injury. And then we've got Szoboszlai as well, who had a pristine injury record since signing for Liverpool. And now has come in and is looking to have adopted Naby Keita's role in regards to, getting used to the basement, getting used to the bed in the basement. Chat to me, man.
This medical... I had my rant yesterday about this, and the medical team, it just... look, when you got a manager who trains like you play on a match day, and it's all about intense training, intense play, because that's just the way he plays, you need a medical team that can keep up with his training. You need something, and it's not keeping up. You can't tell. So I can't blame Klopp a lot on this, because he goes to his medical team beginning of the week and they tell him who's fit to train, who can do intense training, who has to do indoor training, individual training, has to rest, who's in the red zone, who's not, and things like that. And then he dictates his training sessions for the week against what the medical team says and the advice. And when he's told, oh yeah, Trent's perfectly fine now, he's back from his knee injury, he can join the squad again, can go back into training, he's ready for match day squads, and Klopp's like, oh, okay, cool, wicked, thank you, got one of my better players back, put him back in training, there's no doubt about it. When he's fit, he gets in the team again, gets in the team, plays 45 minutes, his knee's left. I mean, that's just diabolical. It happened to Luis Diaz last January 2023. Warm winter training in Dubai. Came back from a knee injury. Told he can come back. We had them 2 little pre-season winter Dubai games, didn't we? In the January. Done his knee again. Didn't see him till the end of the beginning of this season. Thiago, I've never seen a man that can jog and for 10 minutes. No, didn't sprint, jogged for 10 minutes, had 5 touches of the ball and ripped his hamstring. I don't know how it happens.
Jogged for 6 minutes, actually. 6.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know how that happens. That is part of the medical... They're not ready to come back. Now, 2 things are either happening. The medical team are just useless and they're bad at their job, or Klopp's rushing players back. It's one of the 2 things. Because they're obviously not able to, they're not ready. They might look fine, they might be walking around, running in training and looking right, but you can't rush these things, especially with the talented players. It's the talented players that are getting injured in our team. Your Trent, your Thiagos, then your Szoboszlai. If you look at the way we play now, Szoboszlai is actually really important for our side, because the running he does from box to box, it's very important to the way we play. That's why he's missed when he's not playing for us, in my opinion. And we haven't really got anyone on that right side who can do that job. And they're not, and they're just getting reoccurrences of the same injury they were out for. That's an issue for me. That's an issue. It's only 2 things. The medical department are negligent, or Klopp is bringing people back too soon. That's the only answers I couldn't have.
Yeah. 1 second. Yes, sir. I'm gonna give you a chance to rephrase your word before I just lay into. Maybe you've just woken up on the wrong side of the bed. Maybe, I don't know. But like I said, neither of us are that word that you just called us. And if anything,
we're playing bad without them either.
Anyway, if anything, you're behaving like that word. But I'm not going to get involved in that. So I'm gonna let you rephrase what you wanted to say. If not, please skedaddle. Just get off the show. Just get off. I'm not gonna entertain that. But yeah. Moving on. Yeah. Listen, I agree. The question is this a symptom of Klopp having too much control in regards to, bringing players back before they're ready, forcing players to play when they didn't need to? Like, look, Thiago didn't have to play against Arsenal. That he could have put McConnell on. It wouldn't have made a difference in terms of how the game was going. He wasn't match fit. You can see his passes weren't as crisp as they could have been. As they have been. I know people got excited by the, by the little compilations of him in training. Do you know what I mean? But it's not the same in a game. You could see a couple of times he played a pass into Robert, just fired it in at him from like 5 yards. And it's like, hey, you didn't even need to do that. It was just, he looked he just didn't look like himself. Klopp, when he came into the club had a structure and Klopp was just a cog in that structure. It seems to me as though Klopp has become that structure. So now anything Klopp says, it goes. And now our Klopp doctor, could he really combat or go against Klopp if Klopp said, I need this player back for this game? Bradley's not here. I don't want to go and play Robertson. Trent. Do we need to go and play Trent? And it seems as though he's just gone and bounce, isn't it? Like, Trent needs to play. We haven't got Conor Bradley. He needs to go and play. He makes the difference. Can he make the difference?
Yeah, I don't know. I just, I can't remember the guy's name who's the head of the medical department. He looks like Jurgen Klopp's younger brother, don't he? I can't remember his name now, but he said a couple of seasons ago that the training regime that he got with Jurgen could keep these players going for 3 seasons, and after 3 seasons, after that, you'd need to get into the market and get new players in because they will start to pick up injuries and they won't have the legs to carry on no more. And if you go back to when we won the Premier League and the year before when we won the Champions League, we barely had any injuries them 2 seasons. We could play the same teams. And I think that's what you're saying. Them 2 or 3 seasons there, and they were able to just go full steam, 100 miles an hour every game because the players' fitness levels were so high with the regime that they had that they just couldn't be touched. And that's why Liverpool was so good in them 2 years. And then if you go to the 3rd season, when it started to stop, we started to get injuries and stuff like that. And then we went into that 4th season where we went for obviously the quadruple. And then after that, last season and this season, we've had quite a number of injuries to top players, and I think that's the issue there. I think where Klopp's to blame is that he probably didn't listen when he needed to rotate his players more. That's why Michael Edwards wanted Jordan Henderson gone 4 years ago. He wanted Milner gone 3 years ago because they saw that they were coming to the end of their lifetime and what they can do in a Jurgen Klopp system. And their legs were starting to go, and they needed refreshing to keep the way this team plays. As we say, we're playing in an intense way, we train in an intense way, and that's how we win things under Jurgen Klopp. So the medical department and everything's got to be in sync. And then 3 years, it was in sync, and now it's starting to fall behind. So, yeah, I think everyone's got part of blame in it. Everyone at the club. It's just that we didn't refresh this team enough. They got old together, and you can't ask players when they're getting old together to play in that intense way and not get injuries like they did when they were 3 or 4 years before.
Yeah, I agree. Like I don't and I know I made the statement that is this a symptom of obviously Klopp not listening to this medical team. I don't think it's that. I think it's more to do with the fact that he has a system, and once he likes a player, he likes to go in and play them, and he's got his loyalties with players, and he's not the type of manager that's very cutthroat in terms of you've got a 3-year span at this club and then you're gone. He's not as ruthless as some of the other managers, and I think that's what really affects us, because when we then rely on a lot of these players to keep playing games, it does cause us problems that we've seen with Szoboszlai. He was playing everywhere. He was asked to do everything. Yeah, at one point he was playing as a DM when we were 10 men against Watford, against who were we 10 minutes against? Bournemouth. When we were 10 minutes against them, he went in to play as a DM. He's played every single game possible when he's fit. Because, as you said, because of the legs. Now we haven't got those legs. We can't play the same way. And Klopp likes a very repetitive style of football that he can just implement in every single game. And when you go in, haven't got like for like replacements, it then causes obviously problems, because then we're relying on the likes of Gravenberch or Elliott to come in and do the same role of Szoboszlai, but they're different players, and it means you have to change the way you want to go and play. Looking at obviously these players then, simple. How big of a miss is Trent? in this run up to the final as well.
Where I get cancelled. See, I
asked it for a reason because I think I know your perspective on it. But
the Trent thing, I've been saying this for a long time now. For me, Trent is a phenomenal footballer. There is no doubt about that. I just don't want him to play this inverted right back role no more. I don't think he needs to, because you've got Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Curtis Jones, and players like that in that midfield area, and Endo in that midfield now who can do that role. You don't need to Trent come inverted like he did at the end of last season, because the likes of Henderson and Fabinho couldn't do that role anymore. So it helped Trent coming in inverting. That's why they brought it in. And this season, I just want Trent to go back to. I just want Trent in attacking areas of the pitch where he's going to be devastating for Liverpool Football Club with his ability. And when he plays right back, I feel like sometimes we play more to Trent's strengths than we play to the team's strengths. That's just the way it seems like sometimes. You know, with Conor Bradley, you know, it's very small sample size, obviously, with Conor Bradley, but he's up and down that right side of the pitch, i.e., like Trent was when he was 19, 20. Up and down, getting quality balls into the box, good passing, taking his man on, you know, can press, you know, higher up the pitch and can defend, you know. And that was Trent. You go back to Trent 19 and 20. That's what Conor Bradley's like now, in a way. And that's what I think benefits our team more. You know, if you look at Jurgen Klopp's era at Liverpool, his most creative footballers were his fullbacks. They just were. They were his fullbacks. They were about Robbo and Trent just changing the game and being these mad attacking fullbacks. They were like South American fullbacks, weren't they? And they were just getting forward, and they had so much ability that they were getting like double-digit assists each every single season. And then when you had the forwards we had, you go score barrels of goals, you know. And that is not the way they are now. You know, Robbo has to tuck inside of his left back, or Gomez has to tuck inside, which suits Gomez's game better. But it leaves us off balance. I don't think Liverpool got a great balance in their team at the moment. The month of January, I know we didn't play anyone amazing, apart from Chelsea in name, I suppose, but positionally they're a mid-table team at the moment. But in the month of January, when Trent was out injured, I actually thought we played our best football that month all season. Personally, I thought we had more control in games. I liked the width on the right-hand side. Szoboszlai was able to actually get in the box, you know, attack the box for crosses and late runs, because he didn't have to drift out wide and be the overlapper, because Trent's cutting inside into the position he wants to play. So he's running box to box. I just like the way we played, and I feel like Trent's a tremendous talent, and we are going to miss him. So anyone thinks I'm saying we're not going to miss him, we are, because he's a tremendous talent. But I've been saying this for a long time. Everyone keeps complaining about competition for places. That's all I ever hear about Liverpool fans. We never got the squad. We never got competition for places. Well, now we've got competition for places because Conor Bradley's proving that he can step up. But the problem is, because he's got Trent's position at the moment, everyone's like, no, that's Trent's position. You know what I mean? It's like, but everyone wants competition for places. You can't win. I said this with Mo Salah. We had a right winger who came in, and Mo was out for 4 weeks, but the man was banging goals, linking beautifully with the forwards, and we were winning all our games. Mo don't just jump back into the team. This is what it's meant to be about, isn't it? So at the moment, if Conor Bradley takes this right back spot for the next 4 or 5 weeks while Trent's out, and he's playing really well and he's looking good, for me, that's Conor's spot now. Trent has to fight for it back. The same way Trent took Nathaniel Klein's spot as a 19, 20-year-old. It's exactly the same thing. Competition.
Do we think, though, playing devil's advocate, Trent is in a different category to any other player on the pitch, like a Salah, like a Van Dijk, because of their impact on the team and their impact on the game? And they can be the difference maker. So when people are looking at Trent, we need to get Trent in the side. We know Trent's not going to play anywhere else under Klopp. So he's not going to play. He's not going to play in midfield where he's going to try wedge him in. He's not going to play in the 6. He's not going to play anywhere else apart from right back. if he's not going to play anywhere else apart from right back, do you go and play Bradley or play this right back that's in form, but isn't as good or can't change the game as much as someone like Trent? And that's where I think maybe is there an argument to say that that's right to look, because I think some fans will look at it like that, and I'm probably more inclined to look at it like that because I want Bradley to play, and I would still play him because I think Trent hasn't been good since the injury. But I can see the perspective of how you look at a player like that and be like, how can we not play him? As in, he can go and he's the one that can play that pass, that direct pass that I want our team to go and play, that direct type of football that can change point A, which is defense, to point B to attack in a switch of a button, in a kick. Whereas we need to play much better as a team in order for Bradley to do well, or in order for this player to do well. If we don't play as well as a team, then they can't do anything else. They're more like a system player as opposed to the individual quality. And I think maybe that's what some fans are looking at.
It's interesting. I mean, look, Conor Bradley's going to probably get his chance now. So we're all going to witness it firsthand now, what Conor can do with a proper run in the side now, because we don't know how long Trent's going to be out for. If he's going to miss the cup final, he's probably not going to be back till mid-March. So, you know, it gives Conor Bradley a nice little run now. Let's see what Conor Bradley can do. Let's see what happens. We did it with Trent. We saw what he could do, and he kept his place. You know, obviously, Klein was out for much longer than what Trent's going to be out for, but it is difficult because Trent, as I said at the beginning of my conversation there, Trent is a world-class talent with the ball at his feet. And you're going to miss that kind of talent in your team. But as I said, I don't want the inverted role no more. I'm sick of my centre-back having to go one-on-one with an opposition winger when Trent is playing the inside foot, you know, this inverted right-back role. You know, I'd rather my right-back going on one-on-one with a winger defensively instead. Like we saw it the other day. When was the last time we saw Kwanzaa this season have to do a last-ditch sliding tackle in a wide right area of the pitch, you know, and get booked for it because there was no right-back in that vicinity? Kanate, look what happens when Kanate has to go over. He gets injured or he gets booked and he gets sent off in games. I just feel like if Trent comes back in the team, Trent goes back to playing that just right-back role. Just play the right-back role that Trent made famous at this moment in time. That is well.
Do you think he can play that? But do you think he can play that? Because in the last few games, especially, and I went to the Arsenal game, so I was touchline watching what was going on. He was trying to do the Bradley role, but he just couldn't do it to that effect. I don't think he's got the
legs for it now. No, I don't think he's got the legs for it.
I don't think he's got the legs for it. I don't think he's got the appetite for it. I know Uncle Albert in the chat said playing a player in a position where he doesn't want to go and play, doesn't matter how good he is. If he doesn't want to play there and he's the type of player to just throw a strop, you know, you got the likes of Milner that will just give 100% no matter where they play.
Yeah,
he looks like he's even
Curtis Jones right, can play better.
Yeah, exactly. Trent looks like he's throwing a strop every single game. He's got to go and play right back if he's not allowed to go and invert and have the free roam of just floating about everywhere. He was asked to play like a traditional right back against Arsenal, and he just couldn't do it. No. He got beat. He got isolated 1v1. He couldn't get into the game. The team couldn't find him out wide, and he didn't have as much of an effect. I look at it now, and I'm like, you know what? Play the guy in midfield now. If you're looking at Trent and you're saying, and Klopp saying, you know what, we've got to go and play him, and you're rushing him back from injury, play him in the position that he can actually just start central. That way you can still have the width, as you've said, with Bradley, right? That's been effective for us. And maybe take out a McAllister, take out a Szoboszlai, take out a Jones. It doesn't matter at this point. I'm not saying we should take out any of those players, by the way, but I'm saying take one of those guys out and play that person that you think is this world-class player that you need to go and play. It's like with Salah, isn't it? Why play Salah like we did last season when his heels are touching the chalk on the edge of the pitch and he's nowhere near the box, and hence why he's nowhere near effective.
Can you imagine Conor Bradley overlapping Mo, and Trent is the right-sided midfielder that's inside?
Exactly.
You've got that triangle. Conor Bradley keeping the width, being the right back, going up and down. Overlapping Mo now comes inside, and then you've got Trent in that area of the pitch where it could be absolutely deadly.
Yeah,
that triangle, that'd be beautiful.
Yeah, that's exactly what I look at it, because otherwise you're right. It's like you have to either you sacrifice the team's stability, and as you said, in the last month or so, the last few games without Trent, we've actually looked really, really good. The balance has been better. We went on runs where we're scoring 4+ goals every single game. Got to the Arsenal game, Trent comes back in, and I'm not saying it's Trent's fault. I think there was a lot of reasons as to why we didn't perform well. I think Arsenal were just superb, and we got outdone tactically. But having like a Conor Bradley, and I know it wasn't his fault that he couldn't be in the game, I think would have given us a different dimension.
Yeah.
Made us less predictable.
It does. And look, it's mad that we're talking like this about Trent, because we do find him as a world-class talent on the ball. There is no doubt about it. What he does on the ball, there's not many in Europe that can offer you what Trent does. And, if you're finding a player that what Trent does on the ball, it's costing you stupid money. And if he weren't a right back, I don't think we'd be having this discussion. We're just like, if he, if he's a midfielder, we'd be like, oh, he's going to be sorely missed because what he does for us is mad. Because he's a right back, and we got another right back coming through now in Conor Bradley, and we got another right back in you could play there in Joe Gomez. They're all defensively better and gives us more stability and makes the balance of the team look a little better. But then you can't leave Trent out. It's a real awkward. I just don't think while Jurgen Klopp's at Liverpool, I don't think Trent's going to play midfield. And if you look at the inverted role, look at players who play the inverted role for other clubs. They either get bad injuries themselves or they cost other players to get bad injuries. It's happened at City. It's happening at Liverpool. The inverted role it takes a lot of dedication to do, because, you're starting position of right back, but you're inverting into the middle of the pitch. And then you're asking your centre-backs you're asking your left-back and centre-backs all to shift across. To shift across constantly if you're not getting back into that position. And then because of that, your midfield's all sort of disjointed. So there has been injuries. You look at City and Liverpool play the inverted role. You look at look at Arsenal, they've had their injuries because of the inverted role. And there is something in it. And I just feel like Trent's a world-class talent who needs to be in this team. But if Conor Bradley performs really well for the next 4 or 5 weeks and he's doing a job, why should he just come out? Do you know what I mean? If it's been, next season's going to be interesting, man. Next season's going to be so interesting for quite a lot of players. I feel there's going to be a few players in our team that go completely different roles next season.
I tend to agree, man. I actually agree with that 100%. Looking at some of the comments you guys got coming in, we've got Streets Approved Thames saying, I don't think Trent doesn't want to play there. I just think he's physically incapable.
Trent's a big unit now. I mean, he's not a small man.
Yeah, but what do we mean by physically incapable? He doesn't have to be the fastest. This is about positioning, timing. Like Gary Neville wasn't the fastest. Like he doesn't need to be Kyle Walker as a right back. He can still be himself. Like Ben White's playing at right back, and it's fine.
Yeah, it's about. I think Trent in midfield.
It's appetite for me. It's enthusiasm and appetite.
Yeah, I think Trent actually defends better in midfield personally, because Trent's actually pretty good at reading the game when the game's in front of him.
Yes.
And at right back, when the ball goes behind Trent doesn't read the game well enough. He doesn't anticipate. But when in the middle of the pitch, he actually reads the game a lot better. That's why his interception stats are actually always quite high, because he actually reads the game quite well with the ball the game in front of him. And in midfield, I just feel like he could. Look, he's never started there. He ghosts into them positions. He's never actually started there. But the funny thing is, when Trent's on the subs bench, Klopp always brings him on as a midfielder. He never brings him on as a right back. Always brings him on as a midfielder when he's on the subs bench. So it's like Klopp's sort of like he's like torn with Trent's
flirting
position.
with it, flirting with the idea. Yeah, I agree. We got G in the building saying, but what if he, I assume Trent, can't offer you what those guys offer you in that position? All right, so let's use this 6 as an example. What is McAllister better at than Trent? Just as a midfielder, that's actually our conversation. Let's have. What does Szoboszlai offer that Trent can't offer you, and what does Elliot or Gravenberch offer them or offer the team that Trent doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have Trent over Gravenberch in any position.
Like,
right now.
If I go through it quickly, with McAllister, I think maybe ball retention, maybe. If I want to be kind, but in terms of passing from distance, Trent's better. I think that's just a fact. He's just better. Yeah.
Trent's better.
He's just a better passer. Reading the game when it's in front of him, you could argue Trent's better at that. He's got more legs than McAllister, more strength than McAllister.
He's a better athlete than McAllister.
Yeah, defensively, he's done all right last couple games, but McAllister wasn't great defensively. This hasn't been.
I don't think there's a lot in it. Season. Yeah, like the McAllister. I think with Szoboszlai, he can't do what Szoboszlai does.
The energy. He hasn't got that.
He ain't got the energy for that. Right in a Klopp team, in another team, Trent could easily play in the right side of a midfield three. If personally, I would feel Trent's best position is in a double pivot with a destroyer next to him. So if you've got a destroyer next to Trent, and then Trent's your version of an Andre Apilo, Juventus playing that double pivot where he's the one who sits back a little bit more, gets the space on the pitch, and conducts the whole game, and just looks amazing the whole game. He's not doing anything eye-catching on the ball, but what he does is just that control, just moving the ball constantly, getting the opposition team moving side to side all the time, keeping the ball moving. But then you've got that destroyer next to him. Personally, I think that's where Trent... I don't think Trent next to McAllister and double pivot will work because they're too similar. So you'd need... if Polina played for Liverpool and he's your destroyer, you could play Trent next to him easy. Polina destroys the play, breaks up the play, Trent gets the ball, he starts dictating play. And I personally think that's Trent in the future. He's going to be 26 next season. He's not a kid no more. He's a grown man now. And I think he's evolving into the next stage of his career. I think that's what he's doing. Yeah. Kimmich did it. Tremendous right back. Eventually went into that midfield role. Lahm did it eventually. Went into that midfield role. These fullbacks, these fullbacks are so good on the ball and can dictate play from fullback position. Eventually find themselves in midfield. They just do. And I think the same's with Trent.
I think obviously 100%. I think if you were to get like a Jabi Alonso, he's someone that he plays with 2 6s no matter what. So it'll be interesting to see what 6 Liverpool go out and get, whether he thinks Endo and whoever is good enough, and whether Trent is actually favoured at in the 6 as opposed to out wide, which I think could potentially be the case, but we'd have to wait and see. We've got Jerson Gorseb saying, big up JJ and Jamie. I'm more concerned about the midfield. The defense and front line are okay. Yeah, from I get that. I think it's an interesting one because there's no real concern at Liverpool when you think about it in a general sense.
No, I just think
it's just
2 pieces of the jigsaw. That's all. I think we've got an almost complete jigsaw, and we're just missing like 1 or 2 pieces to finish it off. So we don't control games of football. Like Trent inverts, and then we've got like 4 midfielders centrally, and we still don't control games. So that's why I'm saying, like, it's because of the way we play. We play in a chaotic style. We play one-on-one defending at the back. That won't happen next season. I don't think whoever comes in as manager will play the one-on-one defending so much, which I think will benefit Virgil as he gets older, will benefit Kanai because he don't have to run so much. I feel like McAllister works as a DM under Jurgen Klopp, without a shadow of a doubt. He does work as a defensive midfielder under Jurgen Klopp. Under any other manager, he doesn't work really as that main defensive midfielder. So I think in the summer, it's really important for the new manager to come in and get the enforcer they want, because I think that will, if they go and get an enforcer DM, I feel like you'll see a different kind of midfield. I think, or if you play, look, I've been saying it for a while, you just play Fred at the back and you play Trent right wing back and you play him attacking like Reece James does for Chelsea when they play Fred at the back. He's more of that winger attacking player that can use his attacking skills to his strength. And I feel like that would suit Trent down to the ground personally. But It's interesting, man.
I hear it. I hear it. You've got Angel saying the inverted role has destroyed players. Cancelo, Zini also suffered with bad form. Is very demanding mentally and physically. Definitely looks like that. We've got Quasi Bowl TV, big up to yourself, saying if Trent does not want to play right back, then he needs to compete in midfield like everyone else. He does not get a free spot. I agree with him competing. I actually agree with that. Colin Blackshaw saying, I think Pep, and I assume that's Linda's, has too much say over Klopp, as he once said Pep runs training. We've got Angel at 68 saying 3 to 4 seasons of Klopp and the players need rehab. Yeah, that's how it seems, man. So what we got? Big up to Irie in the building saying Trent played wide midfield in the academy. Yeah, again, but it's a different style of play, isn't it? Yeah, different style of play.
If Alonso came in and played right wing and played what he's doing at Leverkusen, and you play Trent at right wing back in them attacking areas with the front three we got in front of him, and your Szoboszlai and McAllister's in midfield, that'd be naughty.
Yeah, definitely would. We got Boom Boom saying if he goes far up the field, you don't get his long passes anymore. And that's a problem, isn't it? And that's what I actually wanted to kind of address. If we play Trent in the right 8 role, you won't get those long passes from deep.
No, but Virgil can do it.
Yeah, it's
Virgil's got an excellent.
No, he does, but it's very one-sided, isn't it? It's very ball.
Yeah, it's one-sided, but you know, Trent's short pass game is so underrated, man. And you know what else is very underrated about Trent's game? Trent's excellent off his left foot.
Oh yeah, that's good.
He's very good both-footed, and I think that's a. You know what we have trouble with sometimes in our midfield, breaking teams down, is that we go side to side too much. If you put Trent in that midfield, because he can play off his left foot, he can turn and play a left-footed pass into midfield, into an attacking area, and go past the lines. You know, because he can go both feet. So he can go right foot, and he can turn and go on his left side and find the ball in. You know, his short game is very underrated, and he's excellent on both feet as well.
Yeah. Me personally, it's a weird one. I actually like him in the 6. I actually like him in the 6 because I think he
like a deep line
then drop
sort of thing.
Yeah, because he can then drop deep in between the two, and it's like if you press him, you're going to leave a gap in the midfield and allow the likes of Szoboszlai and Jones to have got the energy to run in those gaps. If you don't press him, he's going to pick out a pass, or he can drive into that space and then find a pass. As you said, and his short passing game is quite good as well. So, it'd be interesting to obviously see what he can do there.
Stevie never had trouble with long balls when he was in midfield.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. Very true. We've got K-Mac saying Trent missing means we will play a much more fluid game. Lots of goals and lots of chances. Just watch. Big up to K-Mac. We'll have to wait and see. BW here saying, just agreeing with you, saying he can still play long passes in the midfield like Gerrard. K-Mac saying Trent on the left mid works, but this on the right, nope, will struggle because he won't track runners. Big up to G for the super chat as well. Appreciate that. Saying as well, Trent short passing game is cold. Also, we've got James Doherty saying, and I think it's a good segue, saying when Alonso comes in, all of our players will be playing more passes, move one-touch football with speed. It will be interesting. I like how he said when Alonso comes. Let's just get into it though.
I don't think it's going to be shabby. I don't think it's going to be shabby. Alonso. There's a lot of rumours going online at this moment in time that it's going to be De Zerbi, which is going to make G proper happy. There's a lot of rumours hitting line at the moment that it's De Zerbi. Apparently, Brian have said that De Zerbi's going to leave at the end of the season. I got a feeling. And I don't blame Xabi Alonso for this, by the way. If Xabi Alonso wins the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen, which I think he might do now, he's 5 points clear of Bayern Munich, or
beat them the other way. Yeah,
and the only team that can really win it. Why would you not stay there and try and destroy this hold that Bayern Munich have on German football? You know, if you're Alonso, you could feel like only Klopp's done the double, back-to-back leagues. in German football. Bayern Munich gone 11 years winning this title now. You know, what have I? You know, I've got something going here. I've got good players. They're not going anywhere. They're all signing up new deals. Probably go get some new players in the summer to go along with it. My philosophy, how I want to play. Bayern Munich are in a bit of a mess right now. That's not, you know, they got players aging. They got players can't, you know, they got players who can't score goals apart from Harry Kane. Kimmich wants to leave. Sane's not got a goal this season or something like that. You know, they're struggling. You know, and if I'm Alonso and I win the German league, I might sit there and go, you know what, I could break the stranglehold on German football by Leverkusen. You know, how big is that going to be for my career? And I can always go Liverpool eventually. I can always go Real Madrid eventually, Bayern Munich eventually. So, and also with talking about Bayern Munich, you know, it looks like Thomas Fraudster is going to get sacked. So he's going to get the sack. For some reason, Barcelona want him. So the Bayern Munich job's there as well. I thought last week the Alonso deal was pretty much done and dusted. I thought it makes too much sense. But I think more I think about it now, you know, I want Alonso, but De Zerbi, I think it's either Ruben Almiron or De Zerbi. It looks like it might be now.
Yeah. Look, with the Xabi Alonso situation, I think people are getting overexcited with the narrative of Xabi Alonso returns to Liverpool as a manager to go and, do you know what I mean, build Liverpool up, and Liverpool are going to be the successful team playing this football. Look what he's doing in Germany. If we're being honest, Xabi Alonso has no real loyalties to Liverpool. He played for Liverpool. He had more appearances for Real Madrid and he had more appearances for Bayern Munich. So from that perspective already, it's like, which team does he have more of an affinity with, right? Which team did he have more success with? He's a Spanish manager. Now, look, him coming to Liverpool would be great. It'd still be a step up in terms of the status of the club. But as you said, if he beats Bayern Munich in the way that they do, and he doesn't go to Bayern Munich once they try and go and get him, Bayer Leverkusen will be in a situation where, yeah, some of their players might be taken, but they've recruited really well. And a lot of their players would want to stay. We saw it with Borussia Dortmund as well. Yeah, one or two of their best players, or one of their best players left every season, but the cohort and the core of their team stayed for a long, long time when they were successful. And I think, why would he give that up for the potential of being successful with Liverpool when it's not guaranteed? After being successful with Bayern Munich and having a structure in place that he's supported by, knows the players, has more influence in the team now because he's got success. When he comes to Liverpool, he becomes, and I know for the fans he might not be that, but for Liverpool as a club, he just becomes another manager that has to prove himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alonso, he's got the world at his doorstep right now. Let's face it, the man. Look, there's obviously something special about his coaching and management. I think we can all, you know, see that what he's done with Bayer Leverkusen. He's got the Jurgen Klopp feel about him. You know, where Jurgen Klopp, they ain't got the same playing style or anything, but you know where Klopp took Dortmund and brought them through and went back to back and things like that in German football. And then Klopp got his big move to Liverpool. I feel like Alonso, and also with Alonso, he might be thinking, do I want to be the manager straight after Jurgen Klopp? Because that's, you know, no one really wanted to be the manager straight after Alex Ferguson, really, because it's not, you're going to fail. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, and eyes are going to be on you, media's going to be on you, people's going to be on you. Would you rather be the manager after the manager? Because let's face it, I think Liverpool might go for a bit of a transition with managers in the next 5 or 6 years, you know, and maybe he feels like that could happen. I don't know. I think Alonso is the club's first choice, and if he turns it down because he wants to stay at Bayer Leverkusen, I'll give him all the respect in the world. And Liverpool have to go for their second choice, which by the sounds of it is De Zerbi. So it's got to be Alonso, De Zerbi, or Ruben Almiron. I think it's got to be one of them three that will manage Liverpool next season. And yeah, it's just that. And also, does Alonso want to come to Liverpool knowing that going against this Man City team with Pep Guardiola, it's.
But for me, that's a massive point. On top of the fact that you don't know what's going to happen with Salah, you don't know what's going to happen with Trent, you don't know what's going to happen with Ali, you don't know what's going to happen with Virgil van Dijk, all these players. Because look, you can't begrudge any of the players that have won everything under Klopp to say, you know what, my time might be over here as well. I'm going to look for past. I'm not going to begrudge any player for saying I don't want to go and stay around for this next rebuild, because it's going to be a rebuild, because you are going to have a different manager. I think the different managers are going to have to come in and have a completely different style of play, because I think trying to copy what Klopp's done never works in football. I think trying to go and do the same thing that the previous manager done never works. I personally feel it's going to be either Thomas Frank or De Zerbi, if I'm being honest. I think it's Thomas Frank or De Zerbi.
I said this yesterday, and everyone went mad at me. I said about Thomas Frank yesterday on my show, and everyone went mad at me. They're going, we're clipping you up, Joe. We're clipping you up. This is mad talk. It makes sense if you think about it. Thomas Frank makes sense if you think about it.
Yeah, and Thomas Frank makes a lot of sense. I think De Zerbi makes a lot of sense, and the reason why is because they are the managers that are on the precipice of achieving going to that next step. And I think that any manager that we get is going to have to be that type of manager. Ruben Amorim comes into that. If Xabi Alonso wins the league, there's no reason for him to stress about coming to Liverpool unless he just wanted a change, because he's going to want to. Why can't I've won the league now? Can we win the Champions League? Can I win the Champions League with this team? That might be an ambition of his. As a player, he was very, very ambitious, hence why he went and left to go to Real Madrid. So he's not going to go to a team just because of that, just because of the fact. I'm looking at De Zerbi, and I think Liverpool will want to go in a different direction, and will look at a manager that has done well coming into and just being part of a system. So if Graham Potter was at Brighton doing really well, Graham Potter will be someone that will be looked at, because Brighton's model is essentially based on, we've got our set of principles. As a club, we want to go and play a certain way. We always sign these types of players. Can you as a manager come in and fit into us, as opposed to us molding into the image of a manager? And I think that's the route Liverpool are going to actually try and go down. Whether it will be successful, we'll have to go and wait and see. I think it will be exciting regardless, and I think we might be in a situation where we have 2 or 3 managers in a space of 5 years. Now we may be in that situation because we don't know how it will work. We just don't know. So
the thing is, though, as well, like, I don't think Liverpool will have a problem attracting managers, because it's Liverpool Football Club now, and it's a different Liverpool Football Club. And it's, Barcelona and Liverpool, for me, Liverpool, Bayern Munich and Barcelona are probably all going to need new managers in the summer. 3 of the biggest clubs, literally, in world football, are going to all need managers in the summer. Every man, I can guarantee that all the top managers, all the best managers in Europe right now, are talking to their agents and alerted to the opportunity of taking the host of one of them 3 clubs next summer. There's no doubt about it. So what Liverpool got to do, they're competing with Bayern Munich and Barcelona for top managers this summer. So what Liverpool got to do is just narrow down the 3 or 4 they legitimately want in their club, and just get talking to them right now, which I think is what they're doing. That's why we keep hearing the same few names always appearing: Alonso, De Zerbi, Almiron, Frank. Like, these 4 names keep being mentioned quite a lot lately, and I think that's because they're the 4 managers they're looking at. Now, I know Thomas Frank is like 12th on the betting slip of being Liverpool manager. I saw it the other day, and I think Ash told me the other day as well about it. But people like Simeone and all that are above Thomas Frank in the betting. But if you're thinking about what FSG want as a manager, I don't. No, Thomas Frank plays a pretty decent style at Brentford. He works under a money ball system at Brentford. Same sort of thing at Liverpool, which is just be at a higher level. He's quite a charismatic, charming manager at the same time. You know, he's quite an infectious man. I think he would get. I think fans would really love him eventually. But it's a gamble. De Zerbi, I think, plays an exciting brand of football. My only thing on De Zerbi, I think last season he carried on the good work of Graham Potter, and then this season's more De Zerbi's kind of football. So I'm still not quite sure.
Do you think so? Because at Sassuolo, at Shakhtar Donetsk,
he won the league at Shakhtar. Yeah, he won.
Of course, it's Shakhtar Donetsk, and then obviously at Sassuolo, we look at all the players that Sassuolo have come from Sassuolo. Locatelli, you had Kevin Prince Boateng that out of nowhere got signed by Barcelona because of how good he was doing. They had who's the one that's gone to Juventus? Another player. I can't remember the Fratesi as well. They had so many players that have got into the national team, are doing well as individual players, playing for De Zerbi. De Zerbi, I think it's really funny, isn't it? I think you overachieve with a team, and then all of a sudden, when you go back to your kind of medium, because that's where you are as a team, unfortunately, playing in Europe as well, which they've actually qualified for, he's now looked at as this mad manager. Whereas 12 months ago, if someone told us Klopp's leaving today, but De Zerbi's coming in,
there would have been a favourite.
But there would have been celebrations. The pubs would be joyful. Do you know what I mean? There will be parades outside Anfield that, look, we're getting De Zerbi. And I feel like in a space of 12 months, it changes so much. And it's like 24 months ago, Graham Potter would have been the name that people were screaming about. And it's yeah, man.
We're all fickle. Us fans are all fickle. Let's face it. I think we all change our minds on things all the time. But with De Zerbi, I can see why FSG are looking at him, because he makes players better. He builds on players like Klopp does. Klopp got stuff out of Jordan Henderson. He had no right to, and I think that's what FSG are looking at. It doesn't need a manager. Like Liverpool would never look at Ancelotti, because Ancelotti would need money coming in, and Mourinho would need money coming in. They want a manager that can come to the club and not have to spend a lot of money, but be extremely successful by developing good players to make them very good players. And I think that's why they're looking at people like De Zerbi, Ruben Almiron, if you've seen what he's done at Sporting. I think his highest transfer fee was a striker from Coventry, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're correct.
And he develops players and makes them better. So maybe that's why they're looking at that. Xabi Alonso, look at the way he's developing Bayer Leverkusen. Look at the way he's developing them players. I think that's why they're looking at them three players, them three managers. They don't need a shitload of money. They can develop players and be very successful in the leagues that they're in. If you look at the job, I suppose De Zerbi's done at Brighton, it's commendable. They've got no money, really. They sell all their best assets, and they keep producing year in, year out. Brighton finishing 8th in the Premier League is massive success when you go back where Brighton was a few years ago. They didn't even have a ground. So it's playing in a hockey stadium. It's massive success. Success is not always about trophies. It's where Brighton are not going to win the Premier League, but finishing 8th in the Premier League is ridiculously good from where they come from and what he's doing. So I suppose if you look at it like that, I can see why FSG are looking at De Zerbi, Almiron, and Alonso in that particular way. And it makes sense. It makes sense. Because there's no point getting a manager in who can't work to what the owners want.
Yeah.
There's no point to it. That's why Klopp was a marriage made in heaven, because it worked. Klopp was, they worked beautifully. And now you need the same again. That's why there's no point going for a Zidane. What's the point? It's not going to work. They're just Conte. Can you imagine Conte of FSG? Jesus Christ. It'd be a nightmare. So you got to get the right blend. Yeah.
For me, if I'm being really honest, I'm excited by the prospect of any of those managers, because it's something new. Like, we don't actually know what they can go and do at Liverpool. We're not talking about going and getting the elite of the elite managers. Like, we're not comparing Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp from somewhere else and saying which manager would we prefer. They're all on the same level, if I'm being honest, because neither of them to this point have won anything. Some of them are more experienced than others, so it is what it is. Last one before we head off then, and guys, make sure we're still smashing the like. There's obviously almost 70 of us in the building. Make sure we're smashing and hitting that like button. The director of football, that's a position that needs to obviously be replaced as well. George Schmatka leaving at the end of, obviously has left, I assume. I thought he left at the end of the season, but he left at the end of January. So he's already gone. So that space is vacant. Chat to me about that, man.
Yeah, look, the sporting director...
Steeden, is that his name?
Tim Steeden, yeah. He's the former German player, ain't he? Have you seen that team sheet someone put out of the 11 players that he scouted and bought? Ridiculous.
No, I haven't.
He scouted and bought Kevin De Bruyne, for goodness sake. All the if I can find it, I'll show you. But it's mad.
I've got it. Yeah, he's got it. It's Moussa Diaby, Jeremy Frimpong, Patrick. Yeah.
He's got an eye for talent. I've said this for a while now, personally. I don't think managers have the best eye for talent for transfers. Mm-hmm. That's why it should be left for sporting directors. I think Michael Edwards had a better eye for talent than Jurgen Klopp, personally. And I think Michael Edwards is the one with Jurgen Klopp that built Liverpool. And you need that sporting director who's going to come in and be strong, because Jurgen's not going to be there no more. So you've got to be strong and go, right, these are the players we're going to look at. We're going to use the date. I hope we go back to the data way we used to buy players, because I don't think we would have bought Gravenberch and Gakpo under Michael Edwards. I really don't.
Why don't you think so with Gakpo? Because his stats, numbers-wise, his stats were really, really good.
Because every forward we've bought under Michael Edwards basically had a position in the team that played, and they could see a position. So Mo Salah, Klopp wanted Julian Brandt, but Michael Edwards said, no, Mo Salah in your team, the way you're going to play on that right side would be ridiculous. But they were like, oh, but Marnie plays the right side. Look what happened. Michael Edwards bought Bobby Firmino because he saw the talent he had. But Brendan Rodgers didn't know what to do with him. But Klopp knew straight away he needs to be my centre forward. With Gakpo, he plays number 8. He plays left wing. He plays the number 9. He plays right wing. I just don't know. I just don't think Michael Edwards would have bought a player that would have been that kind of forward. He bought, he helped Julian Ward by Luis Diaz. They were looking at Luis Diaz before, and then Julian Ward under Michael Edwards bought Luis Diaz. And he has a particular position in the pitch that plays all the time. Gakpo don't. I just feel like new sporting director when they come in. I mean, no worry about it. I know people are worrying that right now. We've got no sporting director, we've got none of this. And I'm quite fine with it, because I feel like the club are going to employ the right man. They know what they're going to employ the right man that's going to link up beautifully with the next manager. And it's going to be a real cohesive unit in there. And they're going to go back to the data of what they used to do when they used to sign players, and they go get their right man in. I'm not in a worry. A lot of people are in a worry because the people that are need new contracts. We've got people at the club that can still do that, by the way. Mike Gordon's in charge. And then you've got what's their names? Fallows and who's the other one? You've got Fallows there and another guy who part of this transfer committee that can all do these contracts. They can sort all that out. You don't actually need the sporting director there to do it. But I'm quite confident FSG will actually get... I'm actually quite confident FSG will employ the right people for next season going forward. Manager, sporting director. And
that's one thing that I'm actually intrigued of as well. And I think the FSG will get right is the structure behind any manager that comes in. So I do think the next manager that come in will have relative success. I don't see us falling down the wayside because of managers. Moyes has come in and it's just all over the place. I think as long as the director of football comes in, that's good. And, the funds are made available and we're signing the correct players. Apologies. Any of those managers on that list, I think can do well because they're the types of managers that can improve players, and there will be players that fit that manager's style of play anyway. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. I'm just going to go through some comments before we head out. We've got honestly saying, for me, it's Tim Steidten, Ralph Rangnick, or the Brighton sporting director. BW saying, get Xabi Alonso and Tim Steidten in. Paul Smith saying, my choices for sporting director are Tim Steidten, Ralph Rangnick, Dan Ashworth, and Luis Campos. Dan Ashworth is actually, I believe, he's accepted a deal to become United's.
I don't get the Ashworth stuff. I don't rate.
I guess it's the Newcastle stuff, isn't it? The signing of
they can't spend money now. So was he actually that good?
Yeah, I mean that's why. I mean that's why they're leaving, isn't it? Because they don't make enough money. I think that's why he's leaving.
Yeah, but his job is to sell players and get rid of players and contracts and transfers.
Yeah, that's true.
They can't actually buy players. So
he knows the players to buy, but doesn't know what to do with the players he's got to sell.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah,
I always personally think selling's as important as buying.
I agree. Came at saying, imagine if Edwards was in charge of getting the new director of football and manager. That's why he's still working for. FSG. I mean, it would have been good to see what Edwards would do right now. What you mean is the Newcastle director of football. Honestly, he was the guy at Brighton bringing all the ballers in. That's why. So Dan Ashworth was at Brighton. That's why. So likes of McAllister.
What for someone like Brighton? I've always said this. People, Dan Ashworth buying people like Caicedo for no money at Brighton and all that is good, but a sporting director like that is not going to go and buy Caicedo if he was at Liverpool, because it's not. These players. I've noticed this for a long time now. These players that go to certain clubs, they never go to the big clubs first. They go to a mid sort of Premier League team, cheap, and then they get their big move. And it's not like the big teams weren't knowing about these players beforehand. They just didn't need them players right now because they're playing at a different level and didn't need to go for them players in the transfer market. It's like Enzo Fernandez. He went to he was offered to everyone in Europe and he ended up at Benfica because no one was sure about him. And then he had 6 months at Benfica or a good World Cup, and then he's going for 100-odd million quid. But Chelsea could have literally got him for 14 million quid 7 months before that. So it's all. I think that's what it is. I think the bigger teams are looking at a different level.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's so. I mean, when Liverpool's interested in a player, that means the player's good, so the price goes up automatically, isn't it? It's like when Brian looked for a player, it's like, it is what it is. We just pay peanuts and see what we can make of that. We got G with a super chat. Big up to G for the super chat saying, is Trent world class if he can be replaced easily?
He's a world class footballer. It doesn't mean he's a world class right back.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it.
Also, me covering my back.
Yeah, we got John saying Ruben Amorim or Xabi for me. We got Albert Boafo saying, thank you, Kwasi, for facing this Trent mollycoddling head on. We've only begun to talk about it after seeing that Bradley option is a hell of a good one. That's very, very true.
To be fair, it's the only other one at the club since.
Yeah. Big up to Jarek in the building saying, the Brighton sporting director is not the main catalyst behind Brighton's transfers. It's actually Starlizard's Tony Bloom's proprietary data analytics firm.
Yeah. That's true.
Interesting. Albert saying, I know we want to hero worship Klopp, but the bits and pieces of MS of evidence look like they made it impossible for him to continue. Maybe so. Yeah, we're just gonna have to just ignore that one.
I'll take a man's word by his word. You know what I'm saying? He said it had nothing to do with them. I'll take it by his word. You know, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, we got Boo Boom 43 saying, will Julian Ward come back now that Klopp is leaving? I think Julian Ward's
going Man United. He's going Man United.
Yeah. Paul Smith saying, Manchester actually read that out already. We got James Doherty saying, don't care what film director they bring in as long as Alonso's manager. I think that's the more important one, to be fair. We got Keep It Real saying, The guy can't even speak English, Tim Styden. Imagine him when he's got Scousers all around him. His head will fall off. Oh, my God.
Is that Amorim?
Yeah, Amorim, yeah.
Can he not speak English?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's an issue for me straight away.
Well, he could get a translator like Bielsa next to him.
Oh, yeah. And who knows what the translator's saying? He could be saying anything.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Bielsa's one when Bielsa says something, the translator didn't translate it exactly. He done it in verbatim, and Bielsa was like, "I didn't say that." He said, "I didn't say that," because he understood English, but he's like, "I didn't say that," and the translator's like, "Oh, sorry." I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Jamrock saying nobody pushed Klopp out. If anything, Edwards felt he didn't have the power he used to have and left. Nobody pushed Klopp. Klopp would have left last season if we weren't so bad. Yeah, probably agree. We've got Ale saying Jerry and G as sporting directors for me. Yeah, we could be sporting directors. Why not? What's the odds on that? Keep it rules on about Zidane, not about Amorim.
Oh, right, yeah. Zidane,
yeah, it's about Zidane. Yeah. We've got Ryan in the building saying we're winning all 4 trophies this season.
That's right, man. That's right. I think we're going to win something.
Yeah, I think we will. We've got Jamrock here saying he didn't want to leave the club in such a shambles. If his wife had to convince him to stay, it means his heart really wanted to leave. That's true. That's very, very true. Just get Alonso in. We've got honestly saying Amorim will be like Northside cussing in Portuguese after a loss. You'll hear "Fila de puta." Hilarious. We've got Ale saying get G in FSG. Yeah, they want G in. They want G in. But look, people, that's been the Reds Roundup show. We've been moving for an hour and a half. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure you are smashing the like on the video. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you're subscribing. If you're watching this on the replay, let us know in the comments your thoughts on everything that we've discussed down below. Like, please comment. It does obviously help me engage with you guys much more as well. Before we head off, Jamie, any content coming today, tomorrow on the Jamie Phillips Football Chat Show?
What is it? Friday tomorrow? Yeah, so there'll be a match preview tomorrow on the channel. Yeah, match preview tomorrow. Nothing today. Chilling for the rest of the day now, but yeah, match preview tomorrow.
Yeah, there we go. So, guys, make sure we're heading over to Jamie Phillips. His link will be in the description, so please make sure we're heading over there and subscribing if you're not already subscribed over there. But listen, look, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure we're staying tuned later on this evening as we will have the Brentford versus Liverpool preview that will be out. So, yes, you're getting 2 shows today. This video, guys, will redirect you to the show later on. So please make sure you head over there and get us pre-warmed and pre-started with smashing the like on the video. But listen, until next time, it's been the J James Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we are out. Take it easy. Boom.